Hi guys, welcome back to class. Today learn we're going to learn aggregation in Power BI. So we're going to first activate our what's it called again? Let me confirm this is recording. I'm going to first of all activate our database. Remember that you will have to activate your database each time you to make use of it. So our database is January Online. To activate it, so we're going to learn how to. So what are aggregates? Aggregates are for summation of or calculation in Excel. In general actually. So aggregates are things like sum, minimum, maximum, count, average. All these summation functions are called aggregates. So we're going to learn how to make use of aggregates in SQL. So first we're going to let's retrieve our data. So do select all from the database. The data name is sales export. So that's the data we're going to make use of to learn what's it called again. So in our last class we talked about how to import data to SQL. So not been able to import it, you can just go through our day 17, 18 class recording to be able to. This is the table we imported, and we're going to make use of this table. So we have a lot of aggregates, as I mentioned. We have some make use of some aggregates. So using the sum aggregates, so when you do select sum. Okay, before we start learning how to make use of, there are rules that we follow. There are rules that we follow when making use of aggregator. Things like sum, um, minimum, maximum, average, count, distinct count, any kind of summation is called aggregate. So there are rules to follow when working with aggregate. One of the rules is that aggregates only work for numerical columns. So you cannot find sum of category books, like let's say sum of categories or sum of customer name. They are tests or sum of dates because it's a date aggregate numerical columns. And then another rules is that it must be used in the select query. After your select query, aggregate should come in, and and the column you're aggregating brackets. Then the last rule that we follow is last. That means the new column that you're going to after your aggregate must have a column name, must have a column. So we are going to practice all that you can understand. So now let's go back to using the sum aggregate. So using the sum aggregate, so let's say we want to sum value. Summation of value is total revenue. Okay, value is total revenue. So again, we want to, let's say you're asked to find or calculate the total revenue. Is summing up the other values. So you can say select sum. You see what I mean by select state the aggregate must come after the select statement. You cannot bring in your aggregates, right? Just as you can see. Then the code to aggregate a bracket, just as you're seeing. So sum, the column is in a bracket. I'm putting this square bracket in our column because this column has white space. No more white spaces. You see this space here is not starting from the beginning. It has white space, and because it has white space, to um recognize that white space, we put it into a square bracket and leave a space. If not, you won't the correct. It will not. So select some other value from, then the table name. Table name is sales export. So after that, okay, I think at the end too has a space. So has a space in the beginning, has a space at the end. So when we highlight this, see the sum of other value, but notice that there is no column name for the sum of other value. So that's why I said that it must be aligned. Naming a column, you must name the column, the new column that you're going to create. The sum of other values is a new value. So you must give it a title. The way that when you are creating a DAX formula, you give your title. That is the way you should give every aggregator a title. You say as, let's give it total revenue. Total revenue, right? So when you now like this and execute, it's total revenue. It's coming out as total revenue. So that is what I mean by alliance, right? Naming it. That's what I mean by alliance. So we have the average aggregator. So we are actually very familiar with all these functions, but what we are making use of them in SQL. So the average, let's find the average order value. So you just put the average function here, and then we change the result to average revenue, right? Then we highlight the execute it. That's the revenue.